okay, so he comes back and he said, I have every right to arrest you because this tested positive, but because your situation and how you're feeling right now, I feel like it's best that I leave you alone. We're not gonna arrest you for tonight, but I do have every right to arrest you. And he kept, like, he said that 3-4 times. The CEO of the facility, she walks up.
Wait, she was there?
Yeah, she was there.
Oh my, all this time.
Yeah, I told you she fired me.
No, but I thought you were on the phone with her.
No.
I thought it was like they called the CEO and the CEO spoke to you. I didn't know the CEO was there.
No, so the CEO walks. He was like, "You need to leave your door open so the CEO can come talk to you." And she comes and she says, "You know, we can't have that in our facility." Like, she just went on. She was just like, "You know, we're gonna have to fire you. You're gonna have to leave the premises. I'm gonna give you till tomorrow morning." And like, she just was like saying how I should have known better and how I should have like not done that or whatever, and how she loved having me work at her facility and all that. And it was almost like I'm telling, like, she was like, "You need to tell me right now if you have any questions." And I told her, like, I don't have anywhere else to go. I don't get paid till Friday. So you're putting me out. Like, I need some type of a extension, like, or you just help me out or something. And she was just like, "Oh, well, I would say call your recruiter and see what they can do." The police officer was like, "You're lucky they're letting you stay tonight anyways. Most of the cases are immediately exited from the premises." And I'm just like, why? Like, why do you have to say stuff like that? Why do you, like, it's just it was a lot. Like, the way they treated me, the way they talked to me. And then as she's talking to me, as the CEO is talking to me, the officer is still looking into my room, trying to find something to pinpoint me with to make me get arrested or something. Because he sees my other vape on the floor. And he's like, "Oh, what's that down there on the floor?" And I was like, "My Elf bar. It's also a nicotine vape." And he was like, "Oh, okay." I walked to your room.
Oh, like, that was it.
They had literally walked past your door as I was ringing your doorbell.
Really?
Yes. I was like, I gotta go talk to Chrissy. This is crazy. Like,
so that happened. Tay comes into my room, explains everything to me. Then what? Okay, so then the next day I'm at work, and you know, I'm telling Tay, you know, I'm talking to our recruiter. I'm like, okay, let's call our recruiter. Recruiter called. They're dealing with the situation. But as you know, Tay, this is his home. This is how he makes his money. This is where he lives. He doesn't have nowhere to live. So for them to just give him a day just to get up and just leave was just ridiculous to me. Also, I felt like they should at least give him an extension till Friday until he get his check so he could figure out where he needs to go and what he needs to do. Next day comes, I get to work at like 5. Tay tells me at 7, the maintenance man, well, you could tell him.
Next day, about 7 o'clock in the morning, it was a little bit after 7, around 7-ish. He comes pounding and ringing my doorbell, like, not just knocking, just like, "It's time for you to get your stuff and leave." And I'm asking him, like...
And you showed up and you had on your pajamas.
Yeah, I opened the door. Like, I previously had got my stuff together all that night. But I also thought I still had, like, at least until 10 or 11 o'clock to, like, really get everything I needed together. Paperwork, like, my suitcase.
Right, like, he's been there for weeks now. Like, that's not something that you're going to just do immediately overnight. Yeah. Like, give him some time.
I was 3 weeks in at that job.
Almost a month,
yeah. And my nose ring fell out.
Oh, it did?
I don't know where it went to either. So the maintenance man, he's saying it's time for you to get out. And I asked him, can I not have until 10 o'clock? He was like, "No, you need to get your stuff and exit the premises immediately." And I'm just like, okay. So I'm gathering all my stuff up as fast as I can, like just trying to, get myself together, and I'm trying to get dressed, and this maintenance man is standing in my doorway. And yes, I am a trans man, but I would like the privacy. And
regardless of whatever you are,
like I would just like
you close it when you go to a
privacy
hotel,
to change my clothes and everything. So I asked him, can I close my door while I change? He's like, no. And so I went inside the bedroom because I had a living room and then my bedroom.
As I showed you guys, we had a living room and a bedroom.
And so he steps in and I'm trying to change clothes in there. He steps in, he opens that door. So as
that could have been an issue right there.
Yeah, I just took my stuff and I went to the bathroom and I changed. And by this time, I'm upset. I'm upset because I'm not getting privacy that I want or need. I'm trying to put clothes on.
You're being treated like you done killed the resident,
right?
Or murdered the resident.
Like the way his attitude, his demeanor, all that. It was just like he was just trying to make himself intimidating towards me. And it was two big white men. Like what I.
It was two of them?
Yeah. One stood at the door, outside the door, and the other dude, the main security guard, maintenance man, was the one that came in there. I told you had the hat and everything. Like, now at this point, he's trying to like leave. He's telling me, all right, I done got all my stuff, and I'm asking him, okay, can I go down the hallway and talk to my coworker? I want to let her know where I'm going to be at. He's like, no, you're going to leave out this door now, and you're not going to set foot back on this property, because if you do, it's trespassing. And at this time now, I'm like, okay, I get down fired from a job, but trespassing, that doesn't make any sense. Like, why is it trespassing?
And why are you trying to put these charges on me just to get me arrested?
Right.
It's not that deep. You told me I had to leave. I'm leaving.
It wasn't like I was going to
run back. It's like he's making the situation way worse than it had to be. It didn't have to be like that.
At all. He making it seem like I'm going to run back in the facility, smoke a blunt just for the heck of it. I was trying to figure out a way to get me some money real fast and stay at the hotel and I was talking to my recruiter, between talking to my recruiter and the CEO and just calling around trying to get some little bit of money.
And mind you, this is in a dead cold. This is not like he's in a warm office just trying to figure everything out. They literally threw him out
for our win.
Threw him out before he can get together where he's going next, what's going to happen. That's what I did not like, and that was what was disgusting to me.
Called my recruiter, and I had told her the situation. She was telling me, no one's blaming you, no one, it's just something that happens. You have to be careful when you go to these different places. And I understand all that. But as I'm telling her all this, I'm asking her, like, is there any way we can fast track this so I can get to another job, or anything. Like, I just needed to know that I had somewhere to go or a place to stay or something. And she's saying, okay, I'm working as fast as I can. I also asked her, is there a way for me to get paid faster? Because at the time I did not have as much money as I would have liked to get a room. And it just was a lot going on, so...
It was, let me just intervene here real fast.
Mm-hmm.
So, obviously, we're not blaming the recruiter or anything. I just want to put that out there. We're not blaming my recruiter. You guys know the recruiter I've been working with. I've linked down her information below. I've linked down the agency I work with below. No, the recruiter was working as fast as she could. She's always very responsive. Great recruiter, no issues with her. The only thing was, it was an emergency situation, and I don't feel like it was treated like an emergency. Yes, you're doing the best that you can, but we don't have time to, Tay's homeless pretty much. So next thing I know, Tay's asking me, can you get a blanket for me, maybe from the facility, because I'm gonna have to sleep on the floor.
Eventually I did get a room at the church. At the hotel. I called the church and they paid for my room for a night. So I was lucky, I was blessed, yes. All of that.
Yes.
Like, it was gonna get really cold that night. It was already really cold that day. The wind was blowing 40 miles per hour, and like it was just hectic. That weather in Kansas is just Disgusting.
Right. So he told me like I got a room for the night. So I'm like, thank the Lord you have a room, because it would have felt weird for me to have to go outside and bring him a blanket and just go back in. Like it just didn't look right. It didn't feel right. Whether that was his situation or not, it still makes me a part of it, because at this point we're travel buddies at this point. Because the only reason why I came to the assignment was for Tay. Not for Tay, but to make money, but at least I have someone there for support. I wouldn't have went to Kansas.
We were each other's support system.
I wouldn't have went to Kansas by myself. So Thursday comes and Tay's like, okay, I gotta go. The hotel, they knocked on his door 50 times to get him out before the checkout time, which was very weird to me, because what the fuck?
Yeah, they knocked on my door like 5 times just to, checkout time is 11, checkout time is 11. Every time, and it was like, okay, y'all literally it had been going since 10, I would say about 10 o'clock, that's when they knocked on my door the first time. And then like every 10, 15 minutes from 10 to 11, they kept knocking on my door.
So he didn't already feel welcome in that situation. So now it's at a situation where he has nowhere to go, and it's Thursday, and that was my day off. I was off that day. And I spoke to the night before, I spoke to my family, I spoke to my mother. I took time to think, do I really want to continue this assignment without Tay? And ultimately I said no, because I didn't feel comfortable. To have somebody in a facility where I'm staying that could violate somebody's personal space and privacy and talk to them in such a way and stand there while they're getting dressed and throwing them out without letting them know, like, come see me, and I didn't want to work for somewhere like that. I didn't feel comfortable staying somewhere like that. I felt like they were trying to pin something on Tay, and I felt like I would have been next. Call me paranoid, but that's what I felt. I felt like they were going to try anything for me next, like maybe in a few weeks or something. Like I felt like I would have had to be on my tippy toes. Although I do not smoke weed, I just felt like I had to be on my tippy toes, because anything I probably would have done, they would have probably tried to use it to either get me out or arrest me. I just was paranoid at that point. I was like, I gotta go. There is no way I can stay in a facility where men like that are walking around this facility like that. Nope, I cannot. So I decided that, you know what, I'm gonna leave. And it will be best because I can help Tay out, because what I did was I got a hotel for us to stay in, because he didn't have nowhere to go. So I packed up my stuff Thursday. I was out of there. We stayed at a hotel, and then from there, I talked to Tay. What do you want to do? Where do you want to go next? I offered that he come to New York City, because they have a lot of shelters for LGBTQ youth, because Tay's only 22, so he's considered in that youth category, to stay at and get help at, medical, get a job, which he can get immediately, mental health services. He can meet other LGBTQ people, gain, friendship, a bond, and just have a community. And I felt like New York was the best place for him, because we have such a huge LGBTQ community here in New York City, like huge. So I said, I think you should come to New York and try it. He came to New York. We're here. He is currently staying at a women's shelter in a borough that I live in. I don't really say the borough where I live, y'all know that. But he's going to try to get into the LGBTQ shelters in a few days or so. So that's where we're at right now. But ultimately why I left the contract, because I don't want this video to be super long, I don't want to drag it out. But basically why I left the contract was I didn't feel safe. I didn't like the way they handled the situation. I thought it was disgusting, absolutely disgusting. Now, yes, Tay did something wrong. He wasn't supposed to be smoking in a state that weed is illegal. Yes, we know this. But my thing is, if a situation like that happened and you don't have any proof of it, to go to that extent is ridiculous to me. And then again, just the way they handle it. For me personally, I would have just said, I will give you till Friday, unless so you can find out where you're going to live. Obviously, you came here to work. It didn't work out, but we'll give you a few days to get yourself together, get your check, talk to your recruiter, maybe get your next assignment, find out where you're going to go, and then you'll go. We know you're fired. Okay, you're not going to work here no more. Or at least let him work until... But I get why they didn't allow him to work, because they maybe probably felt like, oh, he's going to be high, helping the residents. He's probably going to be high. We can't have that. So I could kind of get why they probably didn't want him to continue working. That was their fear. But kicking him out the next day was ridiculous. And then the way the maintenance man went about it, I didn't like it at all. At all. I think it was just ridiculous and disgusting. I was already getting weird vibes from Kansas anyway. There was an incident, not an incident, but a little thing where I was actually about to leave, heating up food at a microwave. The travelers, there's a big dining room where the residents sit. You know, so I heated my food and it took like about 7 minutes. It was a lasagna. I didn't want to stand there for 7 minutes staring, and I just didn't want to make anybody uncomfortable. That's just how I am. So I said, let me stand to the side. So I kind of stood outside of the dining room on the side until I heard that beep. An old man resident walks past and asks me, do I live at one of the rooms, which she was pointing to, which was like right by the dining room? I'm like, no. He's like, do you know somebody that lives by the dining room? I'm like, no. And then he just walks away. And then after, I didn't think nothing of it, but then I was like, wait, why is he asking me this? Because he's probably wondering why this black girl is standing there, or like, I'm gonna do something to somebody. Why am I standing there? Do I know somebody? Do I live there? So like, he was insinuating like, then why are you here? I didn't like that. That was already like my cue to go. We were the only 2 black people there, and that was another reason why I left. I didn't feel comfortable continuing my contract being the only black people there. I mean, maybe they would have sent somebody else, who knows. I didn't want to take that chance. When I left, I did not tell my recruiter. I did not notify my recruiter because I wasn't thinking about that at the time. I was thinking about getting the hell out, and I knew if I would have called my recruiter, it would have been on some, oh, let's talk to the facility, let's figure it out, maybe wait a few days. No.
Your 2-week notice.
Yeah, that's exactly what it is. Let's put
your 2 weeks.
Yeah, no, that wasn't gonna happen.
That's crazy.
No, because Tay would have been on the street for 2 weeks outside. And then another thing is, like, you saw them outside while you were lingering around trying to find somewhere to go. Mm-hmm. They kept popping up.
Yeah, they kept riding by. They kept looking, like, they would just get in their cars and just drive down the road where I was standing at, well, where I was sitting at was behind a Dollar General. And there was a road right there, and they just kept, like, and why I say they kept passing by is because there's another road to take. You don't have to take that road by the Dollar General. Like, pulling out from the job, there's still that other road.
Right.
But they intentionally were coming off of that road to come down to Dollar General.
Like you're some type of show, like you're some type of thing to watch.
Same road that would have led them the same way if they would have took the other road. So
I don't know, it just felt like a big spectacle. Like they just came to watch and see, oh, well, what's gonna happen next? It just was very weird. Like, we literally got back yesterday, and it's been so much going on transitioning with Tay because we had to find a shelter, and it wasn't easy finding an LGBTQ shelter. Although online they make it seem like, oh, it's so easy, come on in, get a hot meal, get a shower. We called multiple and it was like, oh, we're closed, or, oh, you gotta come Monday, or, oh, you gotta do intake before you can stay here. So it's like, yeah, but I need somewhere to go tonight. And a lot of them broadcast that on their site. All you LGBTQ shelters up in here, y'all broadcast that on your site, but when somebody's really in need an emergency place, they can't stay. So then why put that on the site? I don't get it. Like, my boyfriend picked us up and he drove us around everywhere trying to find a shelter, and they all were like, oh, we're closed, we open this time, giving the runaround, oh, call back at 11, call back at 12, and it was just ridiculous. So we had to look up a women's shelter, which is obviously uncomfortable because he's trans, he identifies as trans, but it was better than the men's shelter, which can be way more dangerous, you know, when he's not fully transitioned. So he obviously still has breast and a vagina. I don't know if you care if I say that. But he has breast and a vagina, which he can still be raped. Right. That's what I'm trying to put out there. So I let him pick. That was his prerogative. He picked the women's shelter. And, you know, I mean, I think he'd rather be in an LGBTQ shelter than a women's shelter, but because the LGBTQ shelters were just fucking pointless, and I'm sorry, but I'm pissed off because it was just ridiculous. Although I did refer you guys to her and I told you guys to hit her up, and you can still do that. I'm not bashing her. I'm not bashing Advantis, because we're gonna be honest, that was the agency I work with. I'm not bashing Advantis. I'm not bashing my recruiter, but you know, my recruiter was upset, as you know you would be if you work with someone and they leave abruptly, but it didn't make sense to me because you already know what was happening. Tay didn't get paid until 7 a.m. Friday. We were trying to get flights out that Friday, so at least he can get in the shelter on a weekday, because we know weekends is hard to probably get in them things. He didn't get paid until 7 a.m. Friday, which was ridiculous because we got paid all the time at like 4, 3 o'clock. Our check cleared, and your check just so happened to clear at 7 a.m. on Friday. It was just ridiculous.
And then another thing was that when I spoke to our recruiter, she said that I was supposed to get paid Thursday.
Right. She said Thursday, so we're thinking, okay, he's gonna get paid Thursday, and it wasn't until a day after. And I know she was doing the best that she could, and she may be upset, but at this point, it really don't matter to me, because the best that you could, it wasn't enough to make sure that Tay was not out in the street cold. And like I said, I have no ill feelings towards her. She did the best that she could within her scope of practice, within what she could do, you know. But no hard feelings. It's just I had to step in, and I had to leave the assignment. And yeah, so she's upset about that, and now we cannot work for Advantage Medical. I haven't spoken to my recruiter, so I really can't really say that, but Tay has, and that's pretty much what she's saying. So I do not work with my agency no more, but you guys feel free to work with them. Don't think because of what happened you don't have to, because like I said, I'm not trying to bash them. I just felt like if I were a recruiter in the agency and my CNA was thrown out like a dog in the street, I would tell them, like, listen, I'm not bringing no more CNAs to you. I'm pulling my CNAs out. And it wasn't really that urgency. It was just trying to like save reputation and still keep that relationship. And that's when it made me realize that like recruiters and all of that, they're not really for you. So if you want to be a travel CNA, go ahead and do your thing, but just know that these situations can happen. I guess learn from my situation, Tay's situation, that this can happen where you can be treated disgustingly and thrown out for if you make a mistake with whatever. Yeah, so that's why I left my assignments early, and why I no longer work with my agency, and why I'm not doing traveling for a while. Personally, right now, I'm gonna stay local for about a year, just to at least, save as much as I could, stay somewhere stable, and then eventually try again getting an apartment in this crazy expensive city that I'm so sick of. But I'm trying to fight through the sickness of it and save my money and really get a place out here, because it's just ridiculous. So no more travel CNA for me right now. If y'all want to do it, I will give you my recruiter, my agency. It's still a great agency to work for, yeah, but this situation, I can't do traveling around. I'm tired of going to these rinky-dinky towns. I'm tired of them treating us any kind of way. I'm tired of I'm just tired. It was fun at first, and it was cool, and it was great money, but when you go again and the shit you gotta deal with, is it even worth it? It's not worth it to me, unless you have to.
My plans right now is to try to eventually get back to a travel assignment.
Because that's better than being in a shelter.
Yes.
At this point. I would not stop him. If you want to leave New York,
I want to, I'm necessarily not the type of person who does not work. Right. So I'm always working. I'm always trying to make sure I'm working and making some type of income.
So it feels weird that you're like in a shelter, you're not working, and it's like you want to just get back into it. I feel really uncomfortable right now
not working.
Right.
So I'm just ready to get back into the swing of things. I want to get out of the shelters and get into a CNA travel job that's going to provide me either with housing or some type of stipend to pay for housing.
Right, so that you can get somewhere and call it home, wherever it may be. It don't have to be New York. It can be anywhere you want to go. I'll support you. It don't matter. I just brought him here with me because I felt like it's better if he's closer to me than going somewhere else where he's going to deal with more situations. So I'm like, it's better if he's closer to me when you find assignment than fly out. But I just didn't trust him being anywhere else I didn't trust him with anybody else, honestly, to be honest. Because he's still young, and he has people around him, but I don't really trust those people around him. Honestly, what I've seen, no one could help at the time that he needed the help. And that just shows you right there who's really there for you and who isn't, in my opinion. But that is all for this video. I just wanted to make it with Tay, so Tay could tell his story. That is the reason why I ended my travel assignment. Thank you for watching. Tay, you gonna say bye?
Bye.